All right, to watch this video for Friday, which is going to be June 10th. The SPY gapped down today, but closed strong again. I'm telling you, bulls are in charge here, and we are just taking it on a trade-by-trade basis. Had a very nice day today, and you know what? June's been amazing so far. So if you've been holding back on trading or you're taking a break, there's a lot of runners out there right now. So it's a good place to be if you can make it into the trading world. If it keeps up like this, VLTC, this one had this spike the other day, lower high, closed above its open. Not in love with this one, but it does make big moves at times, as you can see back here. So it's going on my radar. KOOL. This one has a pretty handsome daily chart. You had this big spike here, and it's really been flagging, and a nice secondary spike here. So this thing, what was this high back here? 379. Today's high, 378. So over 380. That looks really good on Friday. And let's go VHC. This one stayed inside of yesterday's range, so I don't really have any kind of, although Jane from the chat room, she's one of our members, lives over in England across the pond. She gave the idea through 5 today, and that would have been a nice little trade. Look at that, all the way up to 535. If you're a day trader, you understand that percentage and the money that could have been made right there. So great call by Jane, and she does that a lot. EYES closed very strong. We took a couple trades in this one today. It closed very strong. So who knows if it's going to gap up tomorrow or what? But this thing, when it moves, it really moves. And so we'll just have it on watch tomorrow. I don't want to become a chaser. Had some nice trades in it today, but maybe we get a red to green or something like that tomorrow. You know what? Keep it on watch all next week too, because I really like to watch stuff like this after it comes in for a couple days, and then maybe get a secondary pop. But it might just run tomorrow, and hopefully it'll give us one of the setups that we teach. I always try to teach people to never ever chase. BSPM had this crazy move back here. Then today, a red day on much lower volume. I don't have any kind of, hey, here's a great price to buy it. We're going to watch it trade on an intraday basis, and if I get a nice setup, we might catch a trade in that one. Sometimes you get a third day pop again. If not, that should stay on watch for the next several days. All right, VBLT. Doesn't cost you anything to have these on a chart. I say that a lot. Now, this VBLT did a secondary after this nice pop, or an offering, whatever you want to, whatever words you want to use. And so now I never know really whether to even visit these after that, because generally they just don't pop. But with this pop, and now you're 3 days lower, kind of visiting the 8-day and the 200-day from above, you might get a turn. It doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart, but I always lose enthusiasm after an offering on a stock like this, but it doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart, so I will. BLPH, we've seen a lot of these things that give back a lot of intraday ground, but then the next day give a nice pop, so we're going to watch it. BLPH, GBSN, now this one you can't even see anything until you zoom in. Bunch of reverse splits, I think, in this thing. And this was my morning gap play. I actually took this and made, over $400 just taking it on a break of this, look like this, on a break of 184, and within 2 minutes it went to 202. That doesn't sound like much, but on a $2 stock, that's a nice move. And on gap plays, I'm always looking for that volume to sell into. So I don't, you have to understand what a gap play is. Now, sometimes they go and they rip and they keep going, and then I can keep scaling out. But on those, I always protect my entry after the initial pop. So anyway, having said all that, let's go to like 60s here. So you had this huge move, and this is why it's interesting to me. You had this huge move from $1.71. I think this was like all in one day to almost $4. Then you had a nice secondary lower pop, and then now it's gone down to nothing. Well, then you've got a couple pops recently, right? Again, I'm showing you 60-minute candles. So if it can get up over this last hour's high, like over 188, this one might just take out these two recent highs and squeeze. It does have potential to squeeze, although looking at the daily chart, you don't see it, right? Anyway, that's kind of a sleeper play. I need that to get up really into the 190s before I'm interested. But you know what? We'll have it on radar. ONTX, nice. Now keep in mind, this looks like a massive volume spike, and you look and it's only 639,000 shares. So that'll show you how thin this stock is. But again, we might get a red to green or something like that. And then lastly, SPHS. I was looking at charts after hours, and I found this one. I thought, hey, this looks good. You had this pop back here. You've got a lower high, and then you've got a nice little flag, closed green today. And as I'm looking at this and thought, hey, I might put this on watch for tomorrow, I heard over the squawk, I think it was Benzinga, SPHS had news. And so it promptly ran to, I'm not even sure, well over $2 before settling in. Well, not settling in because the after hours is still going, but it's trading at 175 right now. It's only 20 minutes after the closing bell. So, and right now it's trading, let's see, 160, right about where my arrow is here. So it's going to have to be a potential gap play tomorrow, and we'll trade that the way we know how. So I like the chart anyway, but now with the gap, we'll just treat it as a gap play. All right, that's it. I'm going to leave my list somewhat manageable for tomorrow. There's a lot of potential in this list because a lot of low float potential movers and recent movers. So it only takes one. I tell my members that all the time. You just have to be patient. I'll sit in cash for 3 hours if I have to, unless and until I get a setup that might give me, a nice 10, 15, 20, 30% move over the next 10 minutes. So, be selective and be comfortable sitting in cash. All right. A lot of people, new traders, always want to be in something. And I've learned over the years, I'm much more comfortable being in cash waiting for a good setup than I am being in something and being underwater, being in the red. So, you got to learn to hate being in the red and then just sit in cash unless and until you get a good setup. All right. Enough babbling out of me. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.